Hello and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Eamon Khan here with coach and top fighter in his own right, BJ Flores. Coach, how's life going for you?
Oh, it's good. We're in Miami right now. We just finished the final steps of the media day. We got the weigh-in tomorrow. We got the press conference today at 3. Everything's good. We're just, keeping everything going and just keeping the energy nice and calm till Saturday.
Yeah, Josh Brueckner, you're in the corner with him against Faze Temper. When it comes to training a Mystics fighter like Josh Brueckner, how much does the training replicate the training that you went through?
Well, I make it very similar to I want to make sure he's prepared for Saturday night, and there's no way to prepare a kid without a lot of experience unless you put him through, a lot of extreme experiences in the training camp on the way up. Our sparring days are very intense. Our training days are very intense. I expect a lot out of him every day, and I really try to raise the level of training to make sure that he's feeling nerves every day and he's getting those feelings of anxiety like he'll have in the fight to get him prepared for that. So I have him sparring with all professional boxers. He's responding well. It took some time in the beginning, obviously, but it's a process. And I've been with him for about 3 months now, so I'm expecting a pretty good result on Saturday night. He's been working really hard.
Yeah, I watched his interview with Fred Talks Fight, and he talked about how this is the first camp he had where the sparring partners would replicate some of FaZe Temper's sort of looks that he'll
Yeah,
give in the ring, which quite surprised me actually that maybe other training setups weren't doing that. So how different do you think your training setup is to everyone else in the scene?
I don't know what everyone else does, honestly, but I know what it takes to get somebody ready for an event like this at the highest of the professional levels. I've been in a lot of world champions of training camps and seen how they prepare every day and what they do and to get ready. And like I said, my job as a trainer and as a manager is to get whoever I'm training prepared for this event. And I know how to do that. And I like I said, I like putting him in high pressure situations. I put him in with hard pros. We replicate what FaZe is going to do, what we think he's going to do, what he might do. We replicate with orthodox fighters, southpaw fighters. The majority of Josh's sparring sessions have been with southpaws, but there's been a couple also in there with orthodox fighters to keep him sharp. And we're constantly working on the same ways to attack and look for the same things. And he's going to be ready. He's going to see it. He will have seen everything that comes at him on Saturday night. He's going to have seen it in sparring. I've got very high level, amateurs and professionals that work with Josh and rotate in with Josh, and I really hold him to a high standard.
How adept has he been at learning?
He's great. Yeah, he tries really hard, and you deal with some of these guys who haven't been boxing their entire life, and maybe they don't get the things naturally as well as some of the kids who've been boxing their whole life, but they try. In the moment I say it, they really go out there and try to get it done, and whether it works or not, they try it. So that's all you can hope for. But he's got some ability, and people haven't really seen anything up from him yet. But Saturday night, he'll be a lot different than you've ever seen before. From his stance to his punches to the way he attacks to the way he thinks in there, it's all going to be different. This isn't like a seek and destroy mission where he's got to go in through the front door. There's a lot of ways to get to FaZe Temper, and we're going to show some of those ways on Saturday night.
I've seen this build as a 50-50. Is it as clear as that?
No, I think a lot of people are picking FaZe. I think most people think FaZe is going to win, and that's fine. It makes this fight even more meaningful. So I would say if you ask 10 people, 8 people are picking FaZe. And I like that because that means we'll come out. We got a lot to gain on this fight. It's a big opportunity for us. And, obviously there's a lot on the line. So we're going to make a statement Saturday, though. People will be walk away from this fight surprised and impressed.
Have you been impressed with what you've seen from FaZe in the tapes with the Kenny fight, Ginty, Slim, KSI? What's your reading on FaZe?
I'm not impressed with those fights, but I'm impressed that, FaZe went out and got a real trainer like Malik Scott. So his career didn't really start until he started training with Malik before the KSI fight. And Malik didn't have enough time to do anything with him before the KSI fight. But now he's been with Malik for a little while. And that's when I started getting impressed with FaZe. All those fights before that with Slim and Kenny and all that, I wasn't impressed. I just, they're guys who were lower level guys who didn't really understand how to box and how to attack. And they're all getting better now. But I'm impressed that FaZe went and got a good trainer. And he's a lot more dangerous now. He understands a lot better how to attack, and it's going to be a good matchup based on the fact that he brought in Malik. Because the FaZe before he got Malik wouldn't have been a good matchup at all. So this will be interesting.
Malik, like yourself, is establishing himself as a
Man,
trainer in the corner.
he sure is. Yeah,
Just in your own words, what's so good about Malik Scott?
everything. He's got the amateur pedigree. He's got the professional pedigree. He's been in camp. Like he's got a career very similar to mine. Like I retired at 34-4. I fought for 2 world championships. I mean, Malik was, he fought some of the best guys. He fought Glaskov for like an intercontinental belt. Like, and Glaskov went on to be the IBF champion, I believe. And a fight Malik should have won. Malik won that fight. That was on NBC. I called that fight, and Malik should have got the decision and didn't. But just a very high level amateur and a very high level professional, very sharp, very cerebral, understands what it takes to hit and not get hit, that it's a sweet science. And he understands all that. And he's just got the right mentality. He deals with the fighters really well. He's a big man himself, so he can deal with, guys like FaZe, and understands it's a different way to attack than when you train little fighters when you're dealing with a big guy. Big fighters have to be trained differently. You can't sit in the pocket and land 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. That's not realistic. But with big guys, Malik gets it.
With that said, then how will the fight end between the two?
I mean, look, we're prepared to box him all 5 rounds as long as we need to until we get the knockout, and we're constantly looking for ways to set up the knockout based on what he does. But we've got a nice little game plan set, and if we got to make adjustments, we will. But I just like the nuts and bolts of Josh. Like, the way he's put together, the way he's hardwired. I really like it, and I feel like we're gonna have a good fight on Saturday. Everyone's got to tune in on DAZN this Saturday night. Check it out. If you haven't got your tickets yet, they're on Ticketmaster. It's still available at the James L. Knight Center, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the fight.
BJ, I want to ask you, he gets through FaZe Temperrr this weekend, and what's next for him? Could he feature on that Qatar card potentially?
Yeah, he's actually in the tournament, so he's got to beat the winner of DTG and Minicon, which I have no doubt that he will. This is the fight that we really need to get past to make sure we get to the finals. And then he'll fight Le'Veon Bell in the finals, most likely, who I trained Tristan Ham to fight Le'Veon Bell in the first round. So I got a good look at Le'Veon already, and I understand kind of what he brings to the table. So we got a nice little map as far as how we're going to get to that final. It all starts with FaZe Temper on Saturday night. So we got to beat FaZe, and then after that, we'll shift our attention to the winner of DTG and Minicon. And me and Josh will be in Dublin, Ireland for that card to watch that ringside. And then after that, we'll focus on Le'Veon, but one fight at a time.
BJ, can I ask you to just put your small council cap on for the moment? The 2 versus 1 KSI Slim AT card. Could anything else have been done to salvage that fight at all?
I think there's a little more to it. I think they came out with the injury of KSI and the hand injury. When you got something like that, there's nothing you can do to save it. You don't want to rush him back in. He's got an injury. He's been trying to treat it. He's been getting, treatments on it. It hasn't worked out. And that's just, that's life sometimes. So the card needed to be delayed. The 2 versus 1, it was, not really my style, but, it was picking up traction. And, I guess for whatever reason, KSI felt that his hand wasn't ready yet to go back into combat. And you can't talk shit about that. It is what it is.
Do you think the 2 versus 1 with KSI Slim and AT should be revisited, rescheduled?
I don't know. I mean, it's not my business. In my personal opinion, I wouldn't do it. But I mean, if people want to see it and they want to do it, yeah, cool. I'd rather see maybe KSI versus AT. They're closer in weight. I think Slim has been fighting at 165, and he doesn't want to go up heavier. JJ's fighting at 180, so I don't know how they do a one-on-one, and it makes sense. But I see Slim talking about KSI a lot all the time. But I'm like, if you're a 165-pound fighter and you're want to fight a guy who's 185, then fight somebody at 175 and show you're the best guy and the most eligible contender to fight. Fight AT at 175, but Slim doesn't want to fight AT, so it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
Is it fair when people kind of throw at AT that his style is what stops him from getting the big fights?
Maybe, but I mean, everybody's style is going to be difficult for some people, and AT's style is it's difficult. But I don't know. I think he's working on being more entertaining on the inside, landing more shots, landing more clean punches, and if people can't, if it's his style so easy and his style so easy to see, then why can't people beat him? So. But I got a kid named Tristan Ham who's coming at 175 now. He's going to fight Ashley Raxu probably in September, and then he wants to fight AT before the end of the year. And he will be a good matchup for AT because he is strong and he's a big puncher and he's got a good uppercut.
I'm glad you mentioned weight because that seems to be the sticking point of the falling part point for the Jake Paul versus KSI fight, which I guess is never going to happen now at this point, BJ, right?
In my mind, it wouldn't. If I'm training Jake and I'm working with Jake, I'm not going below 200 pounds. And KSI has shown he's not going to go to 200 pounds. So I think this is all talk. Jake said he could get to 185 like 18 months ago. He can't. That was yesterday. That's not what he can do today. Obviously when he was going to fight Mike Tyson, he tried to gain a considerable amount of weight, and I think he went all the way up to 230. And when you go to 230, you can't come back down to 185. I don't care what was said 18 months ago. It just doesn't make sense. There was a new plan put in place. Jake, his mission was to gain weight. He was 230, and he barely was able to cut the 200 to fight Mike Perry over the last 5 weeks to get that. So I saw pictures of his face at the weigh, and he looks really sunk in. It doesn't make sense for him to go lower, you know?
Outside of weight being a factor, how different is the skill level between the two?
I haven't been in camp with KSI, so I can't really say. But Jake's skill level is getting better all the time. And I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been in camp with KSI, so I can't. I don't know. And the Tommy fight, he showed he's got a lot of toughness and a lot of durability. He was comfortable with Tommy on the inside. On the outside, not so much. So it was interesting. And it was a 6-round fight instead of an 8-round fight. So it's tough to say also.
What's your read on the Mike Tyson fight, which for many he's getting criticism for?
Yeah. I mean, Mike wants to fight. Mike wanted to fight. It wasn't Jake like searching Mike out. I think Mike wanted the opportunity, and Mike wanted to fight Jake, and Mike wanted to make it not an exhibition, make it a real fight. So Jake loves Mike, and he thought it was a big event. And Netflix got behind it. AT&T Stadium got behind it, so it's a big event. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people to watch, but it's kind of a lose-lose for Jake because you don't want to beat Mike, and if Mike beats you, then it's like and Mike's still dangerous. So it'll be a good event. So I'm going to watch it, but of course people have mixed feelings about it, but they're not the ones in the ring. So
last couple of things, BJ, just want to get your thoughts on Oleksandr Usyk. He's captured the undisputed heavyweight title. He's then said he wants to go down to cruiserweight and capture the undisputed heavyweight, or recapture the undisputed heavyweight titles at cruiserweight. What do you think of his plan to do that? Do you think he can do that?
No, I think he can do whatever he wants. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world by far. It's not even close. What he did at cruiserweight, what he did in the Olympics, and now what he's done at heavyweight, beat Anthony Joshua 2 times, beat Tyson Fury. There's nobody you can even mention in the same breath as Oleksandr Usyk is pound for pound. He's by far the best boxer pound for pound. And if he wants to go back down and win it at cruiserweight again, cool. But I don't think he needs to. I think the money he's made and everything, I think that what he's done in his career, he's done plenty. And I'd like to see him right off into the sunset after this next Tyson Fury fight.
Do you deserves it. Do you see much change in the outcome of the rematch between Fury and Usyk?
I think it's gonna be tough for Fury again. It really will. Usyk was on him the entire fight, and like Usyk said, I'm not gonna leave you alone, Tyson. That's exactly how the first fight played out. And he's just so relentless, and you let up even for a second on the gas, and he comes on hard. And Usyk's a very tough opponent, and mentally tough, brings a lot of tools to the game, and he's a savage. So he's one of my favorite fighters.
Who would you pick in a fantasy fight between Holyfield and Usyk at cruiserweight?
Oh man, I don't know. Well, you got to remember, Holyfield fought at 190 pounds and not at 200, where Usyk fought at cruiserweight. So it's a little different. But the guy who beat Dwight Muhammad Cowie and the guy who beat the Camden Buzzsaw, like that was a dangerous guy, Evander Holyfield. But I think by his 11th pro or 12th pro fight, he won the cruiserweight title, and by his 14th or 15th, he's already a heavyweight. So I don't know. It would be interesting, but Usyk would be tough for anybody to beat on any night for any cruiserweight in history. But if anybody could do it, it's Evander Holyfield.
Last year at heavyweight, AJ versus Dubois. What's your read on that one? Your prediction?
I think it's gonna be a tough fight. I think Dubois is on a hot streak right now, beating Flip Perkovich, knocking out Jarrell Miller, and stopping Flip Perkovich. I mean, those are two great wins for Dubois, and I think heavyweights take time to develop. And he lost to Usyk and he lost to Joe Joyce, but neither one of those guys knocked him out. I think he's got a better chin than people think, and he's got a great right hand. He's got to be careful for AJ's right hand also, though, because AJ's really punching. But I do think Dubois is dangerous.
BJ Flores, much appreciated for your time. All the best for this weekend with Josh Brueckner.
No problem. Thank you so much, man. See you soon.